Hello, everybody. Welcome to SnarkCast episode. I don't even know what episode we're on at this point. I am Muggany here with MC Plot Filler. Say
Evening.
hi.
Hello, everyone.
Uh, yeah, I am out of internet right now and can't record the stream myself. So thank you, MC Plot Filler, for coming on and doing it.
A little last minute. I just hope it works.
You're good. And today we are interviewing Fan of Most Everything.
Hello.
All right, so Fan, let's get down to the nitty gritty. What makes you insane enough to come on here?
You asked, and all authors are egotists.
Yeah, you realize you're a psychopath by agreeing to this, right?
I strongly disagree on many fronts.
Oh, okay. Explain
Like,
yourself.
maybe a masochist, but or at worst, not bothering to do the research and knowing whether I should be concerned.
Don't worry. We're all psychopaths here, so or I guess as you put it, masochist.
At the very least, unhinged.
Yes, most certainly. Okay. I guess getting right into questions. Going onto your profile, like I noticed you've written a lot, like at least enough to fill your own section of the Bible. Okay. What made you a prolific writer? What really motivates you to really get into fan fiction?
Uh, it's fun. Like I have enough ideas about what I can do with these characters and these settings that I want, and I enjoy that I want to, that I want to put them to paper, and I people enjoy them enough that produces a feedback loop that keeps me writing.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay, so what are typically your favorite genres to write then?
Uh, definitely, definitely more comedy, slice of life, some degree of romance. I do have a few do have a few dedicated pairings. Uh, I know based on experience that I can do heavier work. I just don't enjoy it as much.
I,
And
I, I, sorry, go ahead.
also speculative fiction, but it's not as easy to make pony work with sci-fi. Like it's fun when I do find a workable concept there, but it's not guaranteed.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way. Like I enjoy writing comedies, but when it comes to like the heavier stuff, is like it's not as enjoyable per se. Like when I think of heavier stuff, I mean I'm mainly thinking of fluff that tries to be emotional. I just can never just can never get into a story that tries to be emotional. But when it's like something you dedicate yourself to and you're actually trying to tell a story, like it's pretty effective. Would you just say like that's like the kind of heavy stuff you like to write?
Definitely it work that delves deeper into the emotional nitty-gritty. A long-form story I'm currently working on, one of our Twilights is missing, is really just a hard look at how Twilight deals with inheriting the throne once she does, and just needing to take some time away from it in order to gather her thoughts and also yell at Celestia.
She sounds like she has some problems. She shouldn't be princess.
It's really that's kind of what part of what the story is exploring. Should she have the throne, and getting multiple characters' takes on that, including both her own, Celestia's, and we've hit a point where Luna is going to have to mediate the conversation because neither of these two can approach this from a neutral perspective. Luna's
Holy
not the
crap!
best choice for that, but still better than either of the others.
Holy crap! It sounds like Twilight's going through some Discord drama right now. I hope you know I'm trolling. Don't take the things I say seriously. It sounds like a good story.
Yeah. I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
Also, Twilight Velvet is horrifying in all universes, it turns out.
Oh, hell yeah. I love Twilight. I'm sorry, did you say Twilight or Starlights?
No,
Twilight
Twilight
Velvet.
Velvet. Twilight's mother.
Oh, Twilight.
Do not
Oh,
mess
okay,
with her.
Oh, okay. I mean, you shouldn't mess with moms in general. They can be pretty scary.
Hmm.
Yes.
And yeah, that's getting increasingly complicated because Twilight never cleared her little vacation with anyone, so they literally dragged the other Twilight from the human world to fill in for her, and now there are multiple Twilight Velvets implicated in this mess. Or
I
possibly
like the
Twilight
sound of the
Velvet.
stories. Yeah, the story sounds overly complicated. I'm kind of into it.
It's taking some careful coordination, but it's nowhere near as bad as one where it was just like I should have stopped adding plot lines 5 plot lines ago, and I am abandoning this story out of necessity.
Oh, okay, so when it comes to plot, would you consider yourself like an overthinker then? Like you worry too much about like the fine details. So like whenever you're building a narrative, you build the narrative around like explaining plot holes.
Honestly, I'm somewhere in the middle on the plotter pantser spectrum. Uh, I have outlining is a must, but it's more putting down milestones and exploring the space between them.
Okay.
If I could ask,
Okay, yeah.
for your plot lines, is this something that you keep in your mind, or do you actually have to take a separate document and actually plot out, this is where I am, this is where the next step is, and this is where I eventually want to take the story?
Oh, it's absolutely written down. That's the next step after having the initial concept. But because if I do not write it down, I will lose key parts. The last story I posted, I realized I forgot a gag until a comment reminded me of it after it was published.
Okay. Yeah, that's where I'm the exact opposite. I can't plot down stories, like actually write down the plots. I have to think about it and then I make it up as I go along and make it look like I had a plan all along. So like for somebody like me who really just plots things in their heads and should really like iron things out more, like what is a good plot outline to use, that like a physical plot outline? Well, what would it be a good way of going about that?
One moment.
Okay. MT make noise.
That's all I
It's
got.
okay. It's okay.
Apologies.
You're
I
good.
assume it was a cat.
Sure, let's go with that. Um, so in terms of an outline, I literally just write out a bulleted list of all of the major plot points I want to hit, like just a summary of a or two sentence summary of each scene. And from there, it's just a case of progressive expansion at going into greater and greater detail, fleshing out the smaller story beats within the scene, building a dialogue skeleton, going bulking that out. I realize after saying it that the term dialogue skeleton is something I have made up and not a universally recognized concept. It's just a matter of
No,
running the conversation either in my head or literally out loud to make sure it flows naturally and transcribing it with
no,
the
no,
occasional
no.
like
You
parenthetical note to make it clear to myself later what I intend the choreography to be along with it.
Oh, I think you described it perfectly, because like whenever I'm writing a draft for a story, I don't know what, and I don't know what the story's going to be about. Like I write what I call a skeleton draft, so it's just like it's not meant to be good. It's supposed to be the bare bones of the story. So I know, okay, this is what I want it to be. Now I can work on the actual draft. So like a dialogue skeleton actually explains it well. I think a lot of people use the word skeleton to like describe a draft of sorts. So you're not really off.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah. Okay. So what would you say your favorite character to write is?
Ooh. It does kind of depend on the story being told, but like frequent hit frequent hits are Twilight, Pinky, Discord is always a joy to work with because in both his case and Pinky's, it's an excuse to just go for the most gratuitous wordplay I can think of. Uh, More niche answer for this one, but one of the characters from the Friendship Games movie, Lemon Zest, she's basically presented as Pinkie Pie's evil counterpart. I like to use her as an excuse to go for basically same principle as Discord and Pinkie, indulge in wordplay, but she has no filter and isn't more of an excuse to just break into more profanity and vulgarity than I usually allow most characters to voice because teenager.
Oh, you're saying that this one was like a lemon zest?
Yep,
Okay, I haven't seen Friendship Games, so I don't know. Like, this is from Equestria Girls, right?
correct.
Okay, yeah, I don't know most of the characters from Equestria Girls. I barely know who Wallflower is. I just know she's really popular. I don't even know what she does.
Oh boy. I mean, do you intend to ever watch Forgotten Friendship?
I intend to catch up with Gen 4 eventually. I stopped around season 7, I think.
Mm.
Failure.
I know.
Uh, I will. I'm just going to be very amused at the sentence. I don't even know what Wallflower does for a number of reasons, and move on. Also, posting in the shared Discord chat because I don't know what's being visible on the stream. I'm not watching it, but this is Lemon Zest.
Okay, let's see.
She is perhaps the per She is perhaps the person who is nicest to human Twilight at first and does this by almost deafening her.
She actually has a good design. From what most of the Question Girls and stuff I've seen, like I hate their design. I actually like this one.
They got better with it as they've got a better feel for the human world.
Nice. Does she have a pony counterpart
She does not.
with
Not
somebody
that
needs
we've
to fix that?
seen anyway. There's been some theories there, but
Okay. So, do you have any interesting spins on it, Question Girls, since we're on that topic? Like, let's say, okay, like maybe you try to explain like plot holes, like how like Spike comes out as a dog despite being a dragon. In the actual Dino Dogs turn to humans. There's like this entire like thing about the rules of the portal don't make sense. The rules of the dimension don't make sense. Have you ever tried exploring that aspect or something similar?
okay. So first off, I will note that my, uh, the reason I am so into the Equestria Girls aspect of of Gen 4 is I have literally been playing Magic the Gathering since the Ice Age, which is to say the MTG set Ice Age.
I
So
thought you meant the movie.
the the concept of a multiverse is something near and dear to my heart long before the MCU made it passé. So having a canonical other universe slash timeline to work with in Pony is something I deeply cherish and have been exploiting mercilessly since it became the case. All this to say that one of my my big overarching main alternate continuity all stemmed from the singular question, no, wait, seriously, how do human cutie marks work?
Really?
Hmm.
Do
That
do
was
humans even have cutie marks? Like I haven't even paid attention to that.
There is almost always some design on a human's outfit that matches the counterpart's cutie mark. But
I would
See,
go for
here's
faithful tattoos,
sorry.
but that's just me.
and
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
and the story that kicks off this setting, Oversaturation, begins with all of Sunset's friends. They're not mad. They just want to talk. Why do they have hip tattoos when they very definitely didn't the day before?
I'm into it. Oh crap! I had a question. I forgot what it was going to be.
You need to write down your outlines.
I no. I've written down a few questions for you. No, there. I come up with most on the spot. There was one related question, because I just had. What the fuck?
Also, while you're thinking of that, quick shout out, thank you to Hawthorne Bunny and I believe Tachi Tecmo, first time chatters and viewers. We have an audience.
Yes.
Uh,
Bobby MT. All proceeds go to me. You keep none of it.
I assure you, I'm making zero, zero change out of this.
Don't worry. If anybody donates, you can keep it. That's your that's what you get for streaming today. Just thank you.
Also, I did share the image of you said those lemon hearts.
Lemon zest.
Lemon zest. I already named it.
I was supposed to say lemongrass.
No, no, now we're approaching New Adventure time.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That actually relates to like one of the questions I have written down here. So you're a fan of most everything. Is that an exaggeration? How many things are you really a fan of?
It's really more a reference to what I'm not a fan of. So before I had to pick a username for fiction, I would go around. My go-to online handle was simply a fan. Unfortunately, that caused a few cases where people were convinced I was a bot, so I wanted to pick something a bit more distinctive. So I ended up misremembering a key a key point from Gilbert and Sullivan's The Mikado. Basically, there are two court officials, the Lord High Executioner and the Lord High Everything Else. And I I misremembered the anti-executioner, but what I'm least a fan of is just gratuitous violence and gore and death just for shock value and or because the author thinks it's edgy and cool. And therefore, if I'm not a fan of executions, I must be a fan of most everything.
So essentially, none of my early works.
Uh, I am literally double checking.
Like I said that as a joke. I don't even know like how many years of my stories you've read. I know you. I remember seeing your comments on Divine Epidemic back in the day, but that story was canceled. I know you're reading Pink Scorch right now, which I fucking need to update that.
Yeah, I admittedly have not read much of Euroviewer.
No, it's cool. No, I'm just glad somebody's reading my stuff now.
I read the titles once.
You read the titles. You listen to the podcast, but you don't read my stuff. You're not a true fan.
There's a lot.
Get on my
mean,
page, G.
I mean,
Oh,
how much fandom do you want in your AV crew?
this is true. Okay. So like, what other things are you a fan of? Like you mentioned Adventure Time. I actually had like a whole thing where I binged all of Adventure Time last year, plus Fiona and Cake.
I
It's like a
honestly, I admit I've tried. It's funny. It is honestly difficult for me to watch television anymore. It's I'm not sure how much of this is just the internet eroding my attention span, but I on having media that goes at a pace I cannot control is weirdly irritating to me. Like, this is why I enjoy reading so much because it goes at the pace I am comfortable with because I am setting the speed at which my eyes are going over the text. Or in video games, I am able to control the rate at which I am progressing through the gameplay and story. For shows, it's just I don't know, especially long-running series, it is difficult for me to get into, and with Adventure Time, I have to admit, I bounced off. I mean,
Really?
I gave it a good try. I got up to about the Ice King's backstory, and it just like I hit the same wall I do with a lot of series of this is great, I should watch more of it, and then I never watch more of it.
Oh, yeah. When it comes to like TV shows, like I just like make the commitments. Okay, well, like I'm into this new TV show. Like I'm already like a season end and it's pretty good. So like I should just commit to it because like that'll just be a thing I do for like 3 months. I think like whenever like getting to like a new TV show is really just about the habit.
Mm. And yeah,
Yeah.
a weekly model works a lot better for me than binging. Like I was like when Delicious in Dungeon was airing weekly on Netflix, that was fantastic. Like I've read the whole manga and that it's an incredible adaptation of it.
Oh, I actually need to keep seeing that show. I've heard it described as Made in Abyss. What did that? I guess like Made in Abyss mixed with Food Wars.
Not familiar enough with Made in Abyss to comment. It's basically
I
taking a look at the typical Dungeons and Dragons session slash environment and, thinking on an ecological level, how does this actually work?
I
okay, so
have yet
Like
to.
it
I'm
is
actually
equal parts cooking show, wildlife show, and, hack and slash dungeon crawler.
actually sounds kind of wild.
It's great.
Okay, so you're a manga reader. Okay, so like what kind of manga is it are you into?
Uh Beyond that, honestly, a lot of it comes down to seeing what Jeff Thu recommends in Mother's Basement in terms of anime and looking at the manga that they adapted for them. Like Delicious in Dungeon, Kaguya-sama, uh ka- some inc a few incredibly trashy ones that are guilty pleasures that I refuse to name. Spy X Family. It
I think
runs
I
a pretty wide gamut.
With a long delay there,
okay.
I thought you were trying really hard not to say dojins, but
Okay. Hold that thought. MT, do me a favor. Make a lot of noise or just take over. My dog keeps barking. I gotta check on him.
you did mention Spy X Family. Did you follow the anime series as well?
Unfortunately, no, I simply because I'm actually genuinely well, A, it runs into the same issue of mo I'm just not into most televised series anymore, and secondly, I'm genuinely unsure what service even carries. Oh, it's on Crunchyroll. Okay. Uh, but yeah, basically I have a few mon I've found a few manga reading sites and I can get 90% of the and I can get the narrative of it without having to subscribe to yet another streaming service. So,
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if you're one of the types, and it's not a bad thing. It's just there's a lot of people out there that say like a manga purist. So like if once it
Oh,
gets
it's not for like
translated
any
over.
kind of ideological. It's not any kind of ideological reason. It's just a matter of I like reading more than watching.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say it's like an ideological thing. It's more of say the manga has a better story or better characterization when it gets translated over to the animated portion, they have to cut portions out, or when they use a voice actor and it gets dubbed over, or even just put to voice with original Japanese, they have to cut portions out, and it just loses something every time. Even I won't deny that. So you
No
get
adaptation
Yeah.
is perfect.
you get less of a story that way.
When it when it comes to like adaptation, I think a smart adaptation doesn't try to copy like the manga 1v1. Like I mean obviously there are like exceptions where it's like the most respectful way to adapt a manga is to do it like panel by panel, like Uzumaki. I thought that was pretty faithful despite like the controversy after episode one. But like a proper adaptation, like it uses the source material and just tries to tell its own story out of it because they are different mediums. Like not really a manga. I mean, it can be. Somebody out there. This actually sounds like it would make an awesome manga. Dexter. I read the book, Darkly Dreaming Dexter, and the season one follows the book thoroughly for the first half of episode one, and then completely does his own thing. And it is actually so much better than the book. Like the book is actual trash. Like yeah, when it comes to adaptations, is just like I don't I never really liked the arguments. This is like the book is better because it's the book. In some cases, yeah, that is right. And with manga, I imagine there's less of a studio following it, so there's more of a vision going on. But when it comes to like actual adaptations, what I value is like what the person at the helm has to say. Uh, I'm kind of just going on a tangent here, but like, what do you think, Van?
I mean, as you noted, translating from medium to medium is a tricky process for basically any story because each one has its own pluses and minuses, and you do have to account for those, or you are going to have something that is stilted and awkward, or you're going to do what the Halo TV series did and just shrug, say, we're going to follow our own vision, which means not doing any research or looking at the games even slightly.
Give us
Of
the
course.
list
Of
of
course,
name of characters, and we'll take it from there.
We
yeah.
have glanced at the wiki. Let us begin filming.
Oh yeah, like the stuff with like The Witcher and Chris Evans, so how like Chris Evans was like the only one who was like loyal to the source material, so they played it off as if he had a strong video game addiction, even though they followed none of the source material. They didn't even read the books.
I never seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I know the all the news going on, and I said it was Chris Evans. It was Henry Cavill. His career is a bit weird right now.
Yeah, all I know is my friends are pissed.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of adaptations aren't faring so well right now. I'd say like if one comes to mind, is like I don't know. People are looking forward to Sonic 3.
Well, this is part of a larger situation of no one being no one with the funding available being willing to risk it on an original idea, and so our pop culture is a ever tightening Ouroboros consuming itself, but that's a different matter.
Oh, you saw the Solar Sands video too.
No, I just recognize the phenomenon as it happens.
No, okay. Yeah, yeah. Solar Sands covered like the covered that in a recent video and used the Ouroboros as a same symbol. So I kind of thought, okay, you must have seen that.
The serpent eating its tail is a perfect description of Hollywood at the moment.
It really is. And on that note, like, what are some adaptations you think really work? based on what you've seen.
Mm. Uh, I mean, this is a bit of an awkward question because, frankly, orig the original intent of my handle applied a lot more back in the early 2010s when I was consuming a lot more media, or at least a lot more adapted media. In terms of in terms of recent stuff, I haven't really seen a lot that would qualify for consideration for this question.
Okay. Um, okay, I don't really know how like reword it. Okay. I guess we'll move on. Okay, so why don't you tell me about some things you're working on right now?
Oh, wait, yeah. That that was fantastic. I did think of something though it was an independent project. Uh one fa- one one guy for years of dedicated effort made a fantastic Alien adaptation, Alien Monday.
Alien Monday?
It is
Okay.
very much in the style of a- of 80s early 80s slash early 90s anime and just capturing the feel of the original Ridley Scott films in terms of the suspense, the build up, the aesthetics, so on and so forth. And some have called it the best alien media that's been put out in de in decades. Again, a recommendation from Jeff Thu.
This actually looks pretty cool. I like the animation.
And, and just had a moment of, dear God, I hope the person I enjoy on YouTube doesn't turn out to shit.
You cut out by a lot there.
Ah, dear God, just had a moment of, dear God, I hope this one person I enjoy on YouTube does not turn out to be a complete shitheel.
Lord willing.
Lord willing. I'd say okay, I'd say I don't know if you're a gamer, but Alien Isolation is actually a pretty strong adaptation.
I have heard very good things about it, yes.
Oh yeah, it's very. Are you a gamer at all?
Yes, but first person stuff is generally not my thing. Through a combination of aesthetic
Oh,
preference and sparing my poor laptop, I generally do a lot of pixel-based stuff.
okay. So you definitely played Undertale.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, I love Undertale. Do you know that? I believe Deltarune is actually slated. Chapters 3 to 5 are slated to come out next year.
That's about right.
Yep,
Oh,
finally.
also, one more adaptation that I actually read today that was truly outstanding, and this is going to be a weird one. Uh, it came out this week. The latest My Little Pony comic, Classics Reimagined, The Odyssey. It is Pinkie Pie speed running Odysseus's trip back to Ithaca with four other myths sprinkled in there for fun.
That's fucking wild. I gotta check that out. This friend of mine, she's been really obsessed with this thing called Epic, the musical. Not Disney's Epic. This is a crowd-funded project. Think of it like Hamilton. Okay, it takes like a pre-existing story, adapt it into a musical. It basically took the story of the Odyssey, and I think it's like the Odyssey is going to be told in 10 sagas. I think they're on saga 7. For and there are like animatics paired with the songs. It's actually a lot of fun if you ever want to go down that rabbit hole.
Oh, that is delightful.
Yes. A lot of it. Okay, this is like I guess this is my only issue, but like that issue, this issue is up to interpretation. a lot of it that seems like something like a Tumblr fangirl would be into. And I say that because on the of the art style on some of it. It's done in different art styles. Like it's not done by the actual creator. Like he hires people and sends them like ideas of what he wants. And I watched like one of the short like YouTube shorts he like used to describe like what he wanted in the animation, and he just sends a bunch of screenshots from animes.
Well,
He is he's a really wild guy.
I'm yeah, I took a quick glance at the wiki. I'm going to have to give this a further look.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like as somebody who's not super into musicals, like that, they're like some songs are definitely stuck in my head. And there is a bit of retelling, like it is in a way like a step by step retelling of the story. But like it's also modernization, so there are a few things that are different. Like you'll get something different out of it compared to the original.
I would think.
Yeah. What
As
about you,
as we
MT?
said, as we said, no adaptation comes through completely unscathed, and uh, epic poem to musical is not as big a jump as it could be, but it's still a pretty big jump.
An adaptation that I saw recently that I thought did a good job. Uh,
Yeah.
the best one I've seen as of late, I would say Fallout. I will say right away, there's
Oh yeah.
a lot of the history they got wrong. Some of the characters they, from what I remember, were portrayed correctly. Even aside from that, the way they portray the characters that they did give us, and the way the story was laid out, and how they developed the plot, they fucking killed it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
not disappointed with everything that I was able to watch. Uh, and I went in expecting a shit show with everything that was like, all the critiques it got before, and like how much they misrepresented the history and got like kind of took so many liberties. But yeah, I'm so glad that I watched it.
I was impressed by how well they nailed down the humor because the first episode like it kind of it made me a little worried getting into it because there were like a few Marvel style quips. Uh, Thankfully that was only with the first episode, and it made sense given like the context of the environment, why like the jokes would be kind of like Marvel style quips. So it's like, yeah, I was pretty into it. I'm excited for season two.
When's that slated for?
As for like I don't know, but like the stuff with the backstories, like where like the lores, I was like, I was actually never into Fallout lore to begin with. That's mostly because Bethesda has a history of retconning themselves. So it's like when it comes to the lores, is like I don't care. It's a Bethesda property. Of course, they're gonna fuck up the lore. Oh. Okay, going on to the next question. Okay, I think I asked this earlier, but we segued back into adaptation somehow. Um, what kind of things do you have in the works right now?
At the moment, as stated, there's one of our Twilights is missing. The story of Twilight needing to take a long and very helpful walk. I have recently updated Space Time Out, which I do want to visit and get wrapped up. It is the story of a six. It is the story of a 7-year-old Flurry Heart getting basically showing early signs of becoming a demanding tyrant, and thus her friends and family, well, her family and their friends, all agree that the best way to remedy this is to banish her for the weekend to the human world where she is now Sunset and Human Twilight's problem.
Sounds like a reasonable decision to
This
make.
this sounds like that's something that belongs in a contest that I would be running.
But yeah, the whole thing is she is kind of bought into her own hype in terms of I'm an alicorn and a princess, and therefore I can do whatever I want. So the logic goes, let's make you into neither of those things, and just for a few days, so you can recognize that you are more than that, and you should embrace being more than that, rather than just
Yeah.
a horn, a pair of wings, and a crown.
You're more than your
You
birthright.
know, send me that. I stand Goth Flurry Hearts.
Well, she's 7, so she's not in her goth phase yet.
She's not there. There's a promise of a goth phase. That's enough for me.
I I did enter the Shining Armor is a Terrible Father contest about a while back, and I did go for the bonus points for Goth Flurry Heart, though she was still an infant, so it was a matter of she got into chocolate pudding and there was a dark streak through her hair.
Here, I'm looking up your entry right now. I don't. It's been a minute, so I don't remember you entering. Hang on.
Imitation Dad.
Okay, Invitation Dad.
Another case of me exploiting the parallel universe next door.
Okay, I'm actually remembering that. So yeah, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did an EQD girls Shining Armor. It didn't show up when I looked it up for some reason. I know that scored high. I don't remember if you placed.
I got an honorable mention.
Oh, nice. Congrats. Okay, Shine. What's going on with fan fiction? Okay, there we go.
In terms of
Okay. Great. Go ahead.
in terms of other projects, I have a number of different I have a number of different concepts in the works. It's really just a matter of focus of picking which one to focus on at the moment. Which is easier said than done because my slush pile is pretty heckin' huge. Uh, earlier today, I refi earlier today I did a small amount of refinement on one idea where it's uh Rainbow Dash drags Pharynx to the next Daring Do convention, where as a changeling, he has very strong opinions about the body pillows.
Okay.
Also,
How strong
also
and how
also
likely
the
might
whole idea of fiction and in general, but especially the body pillows.
how strong are these opinions? Do I need to fight him?
I mean, he would pro he would absolutely say yes. I'm out I'm still I have not come to a decision, mostly because I'm not sure where most of this story is going, but he will happily fight the weird ape who showed up.
Yep. Kind of like getting off track a little. I remember. I remember going to BronyCon in 2019 and like coming across like the Docky section,
Hmm.
and I think that was actually the busiest parts of the con, which is surprising because they're going for 100 per Docky.
I can
And
I can I can definitively disprove that because I have heard stories of how the BronyCon bookstore basically broke the entire queue system.
oh yes, yeah, okay, yeah, I know about that part.
Like I
Yeah,
was not running the register when, that it practically circled the vendor floor. Well, the line to it did, but I have heard, I heard from many that people were very excited to get their hands on physical horse words.
Oh yeah, yeah. I managed to get my hands on a hard copy of all of Equestria, but yeah, yeah, yeah. I no, I bring out the donkey thing because I distinctly remember seeing the blackjack donkey, and I actually felt bad like I didn't get a chance to beat him, but apparently Somber stopped by and signed the ass of blackjack.
I'm not even remotely surprised.
Yeah, yeah, me neither. I know. We actually, I think our friend Jack of a Few Trades lost a bet, and he was forced to buy a donkey. So like, I have like this recording somewhere on my computer of him like trying to look as discreet as possible while buying a Gallus donkey.
This isn't the kind of thing you can just slip into a discreet brown paper bag.
It's not. It's really not. He ended up having fun with it later because like he hung out with like a bunch of friends who also bought donkeys, and they had like a whole photo session with them. So they ended up making use out of them. I think he still has that.
Oh, given what he paid for it, who can blame him?
Yeah, I mean he can always sell it.
This is true.
Do you do you have any donkeys?
I do not.
Why?
I do not want any. I do have two,
Okay,
but
but if you did, what would it be?
we are we are okay. I did see one. It was a pill. It was a pillowcase of a body pillow,
A
posing
pillowcase of a
provocatively,
body
but
pillow.
it was just a pillowcase of of an uncased body pillow.
Having the pillow itself and then having the case are two different things.
Oh,
I am
this should
I'm
tell
trying
you how
to.
dissociated I am from this aspect of things.
Hey, you can have a body pillow because that's just a
Oh yeah,
body
yeah, yeah.
sized pillow. Having a docky is the weeble shit.
Sincerely, thank you for the
Yeah,
clarification.
I'm still confused, but to keep going.
No, a body pillow is a body sized pillow.
Yeah, it's just you can. It is simply a pillow that is a body length. That is a body length that you can, sleep while hugging.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then the
Yeah, the
docky
dockies in
is
fact go on a thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see what you mean. I think body pillows is generally used to describe doggies these days now because of the association.
they're becoming interchangeable. Yes.
Yes. Okay, let's get off the discussion of body pillows. Let's get back to writing. Okay, are there any of your works where when you think back to them, you go, this is, I do not care for that thing. I do not want it to be, though it's like I don't mind being associated with that thing, but I rather people not pay attention to it compared to some of the other stuff I'm working on.
Well, definitely some of my earlier work, was still finding. I mean, one sign of growth in an art form is looking back at your older work and cringing.
I'm very
Uh,
familiar with that. Yeah.
got a few incomplete stories that have literally not been updated in over a decade. Uh,
Okay.
So you're not as
and
proud of like say Elementals of Harmony or Cracked Prism.
oh, well, I mean, Cracked Prism is a Homestuck crossover, so
Oh, that comic I
I
keep
feel like
meaning
that
to
answers
read.
the question. Uh, Elementals of Harmony, I do still have a soft spot for simply because, it was my first dip into the fandom. honestly a time when I had a much more thorough and dedicated headcanon about the structure and contents of Equestria rather than the much more modular approach I have now of whatever makes the story work. It is aside from aside from the near terminal Lavender Unicorn syndrome, it is still a decent story.
Lavender
Uh,
I
Unicorn
literally
Syndrome.
just
Best
pulled up the page to see what was your first story to see
oh yeah.
if that would work.
Lavender Unicorn Syndrome. That's the one where you go, till I said, the purple alicorn said, the lavender unicorn said. It's that,
Yeah,
right?
just spend as many paragraphs as possible avoiding the use of the character's name. I used to pride myself on how much I could stretch that out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think like a lot of people it's like once as they're learning writing, they learn like what repetition is and that they should avoid it. A lot of people don't know like if any new writers are listening to this, you can actually get away with using the main character's name a few times in the same paragraph. Just wanted to make that known.
Hmm. You just want to
Yeah.
avoid Dick and Jane levels of repetition.
Yeah, I think like as you become more experienced with writing, is like you understand what repetition is appropriate. Uh, I say
As
that because in my own writing, I use repetition a lot because I can't think of what to write. So I'll just try to sound poetic.
mm, yeah, it as with most cases, you learn the rules, then you learn why the rules exist, and then you learn when and how to break them. Like
Yes.
this is part of understanding and growing into any art form. Uh in turn honestly, the two stories I am most ashamed of are in fact two of my most successful ones. A Crazed Gleam and a Mad Glimmer, especially a Mad Glimmer, are they are the darkest I have ever gone, and they are the darkest I hope I ever do go, and they are the byproduct of me coming to terms with the existence of Starlight Glimmer.
I think the only part of like Matt Glimmer that had me disappointed was that it wasn't a comedy. Because I remember like because I didn't when I that was actually one of the stories I read when doing research on you, and I did not pay attention to the genre tags. I just saw the cover image you use. I was like, that is hilarious. This is going to be a really funny story. It was not.
For for those wondering, the story is an angry Starlight Glimmer's face edited over Nikita Khrushchev banging his shoe at the UN. Uh,
What makes you use that for such a serious story?
ra raging dictator yelling at anyone who will listen. Uh, and I will note the long description does specifically say story does not contain Nikita Khrushchev or shoes.
Why didn't
Uh,
you make this into a comedy? It would have been great.
Also, I realize in hindsight that I, in fact, have mixed them up. It is not a mad glimmer I am more ashamed of. It is a crazed gleam, simply because. So I wrote a mad glimmer almost immediately after the season 4 premiere, where we first meet Starlight. Uh, sorry, season 5. Uh, And as soon as that came out, I was planning a Crazed Gleam because I knew I wanted the follow-up because she was not going to listen to Discord's warning and he was only going to give her the one before he followed through on the threat. So I planned out a number of different possibilities, especially after Friendship Games aired and we found out there would be some kind of time travel element to the finale. And the one possibility I did not consider was her reformation, which in hindsight was a massive oversight. So
This was before
I was left
you said
with
like
what I can
sorry, go
only
ahead.
call cathartic torture porn with this character who has apologized and resolved herself to mend her ways. So I had to break out four-dimensional metaphysics in order to justify following through and not just scrapping the whole project when I probably should have. And that
Yeah,
story now has 14,000 views.
what was this before like her reformation, or
Oh no,
did you
the
did it
initial
happen? You just forgot. Go
the
ahead.
initial plan was again put out immediately after we first met Starlight. Once she the story came out shortly after the finale, as she pledged to, make amends and begin her reformation, though we hadn't gotten into the details yet. And it's just a matter of I should I feel bad about doing this to her. Thankfully, it does have a it actually does have a spin-off written by Ultra the Hedge Toaster where that explores the alternate changeling dominant timeline that emerged from this and also gives Starlight a second chance in her own right. Though sadly, uh Ultra was so deeply incensed by the series finale that they may have quit. They may have quit Ponyfic in general. Okay, they were last seen this year, but it's very much soured them on her. It's
I like. Sorry, go ahead.
it's very much soured them on Pony in general.
Oh, I like Starlight. I don't get like the people who actual have like I don't okay, so like I can get like people disliking her. I don't get people who have an actual hate boner for her. Like there are entire hate groups where like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it at the end of the day, this is a cartoon horse. There are things that are so much more worth your outrage.
I think part of it is because like her backstory isn't like the most well written, but then again, that is what fan fiction is for. Is like if there's a piece of writing in the show that doesn't make sense, you can actually like it's what Star Wars does all the time. If there's a plot hole in the movies, there's like a really deep, complicated piece of lore that explains that plot hole. That is actually how why most Star Wars lore exists, just to explain plot holes. So like, yeah, fan fiction. You don't need to like go on these hate brigades.
Mm.
Like there is there yeah, I don't know if you came across it. There is an entire hate group dedicated to rewriting season 9.
Yeah, I can believe that. And
I got I
also
got like
and also it would have
sorry.
been nice if the writers who had done the premiere and finale of season 5 had even slightly coordinated their efforts in terms of Starlight's motivation in history. But that does
Yeah.
not but that does not mean I am going to, join a anti-fan gr anti-fan club against her.
I mean I might I was okay the part about season 9 that really had me upset based on the little I've seen of it. Um I was really just upset by the depiction of Sombra. I think most everyone was.
There were definitely pacing issues there. I like to think that
Yeah.
I like to think that it was not actually Sombra and was just a overdramatic simulacrum.
That you know it's I like that headcanon. It's like Discord like he didn't actually bring back the exact villains. He just recreated them from memory, and he just
The others
happens. It's
weren't
just
dead.
what was that?
I mean, the others weren't dead.
Sombra was definitely dead.
We saw chunks of him fly at the screen. He had been dead.
He dies twice, or is it 3 times? Is it twice or 3 times?
Uh, he definitely gets discorporated at least 3 times. I'm willing to count 2 deaths. And he does actually come back in the comics during, believe it or not, the second crossover with Transformers. Uh, he very nearly conquers Cybertron.
Go on, please go on. I gotta hear
Uh,
more of this.
in the end, it takes a combined effort of ponies and Cybertronians to basically explode the, building-sized scorpion robot Sombra is piloting slash possessing,
Oh
which
boy.
explodes, backlashing his mind control magic, so he is now mind controlling himself in a just buff transfixed loop that leaves him staring at nothing.
Michael Bay, Michael Bay. All right, if you are listening to this, Michael
Firstly,
Bay,
why?
this is this is what the people want. We don't want skibbity toilets. We want a My Little Pony and Transformers crossover. Please give it to us. I will go to the theater 7 times. I'll give you all of my money. I'll give you my W-2. Okay, that is how much I'm willing to see this. God, what issue is this?
This this is just the MLP Transformers second crossover, 4 issues. The first crossover is Chrysalis basically just lays a new swarm of changelings to get revenge again, and literally she summons evil forces as malleable and shiftable as she, and ends up dragging a bunch of Decepticons across a space-time bridge.
This is this is this is amazing. I can't believe this exists. I love it.
Oh, it is great. There are 8 issues of this in total, and they've teased at a third volume, though they haven't done anything with it yet.
Do they like like you sound like you definitely sound like you've read them. So
Oh,
like
I have.
do
Here's the thing.
go ahead.
So I do a weekly blog of converting pony media into magic cards. So in the efforts of feeding that, I have read literally every IDW comic they've put out.
Amazing. With the Transformers saga, do they have like a self-aware tone about it? Because it's like I hear My Little Pony and Transformers, I think that sounds incredibly absurd. I hope they went balls to the wall with it. Do they?
It honestly varies. Like some are tongue in cheek, some are incredibly sincere about it. Uh, there there is one where it's just Vinyl Octavia and Soundwave teaming up against the forces of Sombra, and it is the most ridiculous, shamelessly over the top, we are not even remotely taking this seriously spectacle you have ever seen.
It sounds like an amazing team up, actually.
Okay, since we're on the topic, okay, I keep meaning to dive into the IGW comics because I gotta do like research for like the Power Ponies. Would you say you're a credential source for all questions related to Power Ponies?
I do have the Power Ponies annual, so I suppose I'm as good a source as any.
Nice, because yeah, I really need help with the research for some projects I'm working on. I figure you might be the person to ask if I have any questions.
By all means.
Oh heck yeah! What do you think of the Power Ponies, by the way? Like I know they have like a few episodes in there.
Just the ones, but it's an interesting question of what qualifies as a superpower in a world where every person on the street has their own individual unique magic that is both
Yeah.
an intrinsic expression of themselves and also a potentially world-shaping force if they had the wherewithal to apply it.
Oh, so you're thinking of it in a world building sense then?
Exactly. The ex like the the existence of this particular form of speculative fiction raises a number of interesting questions and implications in terms of Equestria's pop culture, how ponies see themselves, what they aspire to be, so on and so forth.
Okay, so would you say like the depiction they had of it in the show or comic? I'm not too sure how the comic is. I know I think they've only had one. I might be wrong.
They have.
Would you say okay? Would you say they could have done more with their depiction?
They definitely could have explored it further in ter just it's a good overview, but like it is a genuinely viable like comic book setting with the potential for further plot lines and any character exploration. Uh and be, yeah, it's there is absolutely room to explore it further. It's just that's been relegated to the fan works.
Okay. Okay, I think while you're answering that question, I have the idea for the perfect My Little Pony IDW crossover. Okay, and the good thing about this is it has crossover with other medias before, like DC and Marvel. Okay, so I'm thinking My Little Pony and Alien. Huh?
Now, this raises the fascinating question of what properties a xenomorph incubated in a pony possesses.
Okay. So we actually have something bounce off here. Okay, so like I'm thinking, okay,
Also,
the,
is the
the
answer changelings?
yes. Okay, so the changelings and the xenomorph. Okay, they kind of share similar properties. They produce the goo. The goo. They're black. Okay, so I'm thinking, like
Building
chrysalis.
semi-organic structures from their own secretions that may or may not also be alive.
Yeah, they also kind of have a hive mind in a way.
There is
Okay.
that was honestly the Changeling Hive was one of the cooler aspects of that finale. There is a Geiger-esqueness to it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Or, you know,
Yeah.
if not that, then what are these horrible quadrupedal carapace anomalies capable of? How and also is the answer to simply drop the moon from orbit because that's the only way to be sure.
When it comes to Queen Chrysalis, are you for like the idea that she's able to reform, or do you just like her as this totally evil person?
The thing is, Chrysalis is an imbecile. Like, she is everything she does is entirely against the best interests of both herself and her people. She has no comprehension of what love is, how to go about getting more of it, what how to resolve the an intrinsic supply issue with her people, the vaguest concept of diplomacy. Chrysalis is the one of the stupidest villains in the show just in terms of applied intellect, and I appreciate her embracing that with every fiber of her being. She chooses evil, she chooses violence, and I have I have nothing but respect for her dedication to the bit and nothing but disrespect for her as a ruler. And I love that tension. So basically, yes, Chrysalis should never be able to reform because she should never be able to admit that she has done anything wrong.
Chrysalis is the epitome of she's a bit misguided, but she has the right idea.
Oh, she is completely misguided, she has the wrong idea, and she doesn't care. She is here to do evil. She is the in this Saturday morning cartoon, she is the one most dedicated to being a Saturday morning cartoon villain. Like
Yeah,
in
that's
the
what.
in the first comics, she literally crushes a a kitten who cannot help but love her in front of the Cutie Mark Crusaders just to make them scream.
The way she crushes a kid. I gotta read the comics. Holy crap, these sound dark.
I can share it with you. I got it.
You just have an image of
You just
Chrysalis
got that one
crushing
on.
kitten. Holy. Hang on, let me check.
And yeah, I agree. Chrysalis is essentially the epitome of what was I gonna say? Not chaos, but like just greed, pride, and wrath.
And a degree of
Yeah.
gluttony.
Oh, that's also
I,
true.
I like I like the idea that she's just a lunatic. At least that's how I like to write hers. Is like, every time I see hers, it's just like you're just a complete psychopath. I'm just going to depict you as a psychopath. It's
The
kind of why
fact
like
that
I don't.
he, the fact that she is
Right?
frozen in a moment of lunging for ponies' throats, even as they are petrifying her, is the perfect memorial to her.
Yeah, that's why I don't get like he's like, yeah, I mean it is fan fiction. It's pretty much write whatever you want. I don't get a lot of the people who write like stories that try to make her a more sympathetic character. I guess like try to do is like they want to write their own vision of the show, which makes sense, but it's just like given like the context of those is like I don't know, buddy. She's pretty out there, man.
It worked when all we had to go on was the season 2 finale, and sympathetic changeling stories the were the new hotness, and exploring the hive and all of its implications, and there was potential there for a sympathetic chrysalis. When we got to the thoracic revolution and she basically said, I don't want to cure cancer, I just want to make dinosaurs, that that kind of just killed the
I
possibility outside of AUs.
I I'm pretty sure you're exaggerating. I want that to be a real quote. Please
That
tell me
is
that's a real
sadly a
quote. You
quote
said
from a
something so great.
Spider-Man villain, but same basic energy.
Oh my god, yes. What Spider-Man villain?
Sauron. Well, Sauron, but he literally and explicitly named himself after the Lord of the Rings character.
I believe there's a DC comic where Lex Luthor finds the cure for cancer, saves his cancer patient, and then just gives them their cancer back just because he wants to prove that he could find the cure for cancer if he wanted to, but he doesn't care to.
Lex
Lex
has
Luthor
his
has
own
some daddy issues.
Le Lex has his own issues, yes. Not dissimilar to Chrysalis's, but in a very different sense.
Okay. Let's do like a hypothetical scenario. Okay, let's say you find the cure for cancer. Okay, now, first of all, okay, well, what cancer is? What cure for cancer do you find? Which one?
As in as in which cancer?
Yes.
Yes, I'm testing your RPing skills right now.
Yeah. Unfortunately, each form of cancer is a completely unique form of cancer. This cancer is not just one ambiguous form of a disease.
Yes.
Each one's completely unique.
Yeah, basically curing cancer is right up there with curing virus.
Yes.
So which one would
I'm
it
go
be?
Let's go with leukemia.
Okay, we're going with leukemia. All right. Saving everyone from Hiroshima. I respect that. Um, okay, so you find the cure for leukemia. Okay, you're going to take this to like the biggest news outlets. Okay, government gets hold of it, and they go, hey, we need to tax that. So they're trying to take all your work away. Well, what do you do? How do you get the cure for cancer out there? How do you fight the government?
Uh, well,
Put the formula
secure
on
the
X.
patent, The Well, oh shoot, this is the part where I have to admit that I don't know enough about patent law.
Okay,
Because
let's say okay
basically
to make it easier on
the answer is
you.
put it out open source. Just disseminate it
Okay.
to a degree that it is basically impossible to sequester and base just spam the manufacturing methods on, on all channels until, there is no way to hide this information. There is no way to secure it. We are, of course, assuming that this isn't something that can only be made in very specific lab conditions after, with 4 days and, $100,000 worth of raw materials per dose.
Robitussin and baking soda. Bam.
Turns out.
What if Dr. Oz has the cure for cancer? We just ignore him because all of his emails are marked as spam. I'm trying to let the science persist as long as possible.
I actually checked my spam folder, so.
No, okay, let's make the question a little easier. Okay, instead of the government, it's Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor knows you have the cure for cancer. He wants it. Hello?
I mean, if Lex Luthor is real, we have other concerns and also vastly more people who have ignored the moral imperative to apply their gifts for the common good.
Mm-hmm.
So that
But
if if I'm facing issues for just trying to get a cancer cure out, and we're actually in the DC universe, I feel like I'm going to become a supervillain before the month is out.
yes, yes, yes. I was literally thinking
Not
about that.
even intentionally. It just it feels like an inevitable consequence.
Yes, yes. I was literally thinking about this. Like this sounds like a super villain origin story. So it's like you work for like his corporation, you find the cure for cancer. He's like, yo, I want that. Ruins all of your hard work. Okay, okay. What kind of super villain are you gonna be?
I feel like the conversation in general has kind of drifted into a very unexpected direction.
That's what we do here. We throw the guests off and make them uncomfortable. Okay.
I mean,
MD.
I'm pretty sure I just
Sorry.
end up violating my NDA and posting a ton of leaked information on LexCorp to Reddit.
I like that answer. I like that. Using Reddit to blackmail Lex Luthor. That's a great DC comic.
I mean, he has at least six sock puppets.
Oh, definitely.
And then just open up a Patreon to support yourself after that. Like, hey, pay for my legal bills.
Okay.
I could
Okay.
just post on GoFundMe. I cured cancer. Lex Luthor took it away. Help fund my legal bills.
R slash fucking I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, you'd be alright, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
R slash
Okay.
AITA. My boss killed my cancer cure, so I humiliated him worldwide. Am I the asshole?
R slash anti work is essentially where you would post it.
Mm.
Okay. MT, do you have any questions while I think of a way to get us back on topic?
Back to your literary. Oh wow, I am such a wordsmith here today. Back to your literary works. One of the questions I've always liked to ask is, for all of the works you've actually produced, if there was one you could have translated over to a visual medium, whether it be like a Netflix series or a full-length major production for the theaters, which one of your works would it be?
Ooh, fascinating question. Um, Well, some would obviously work better than others. Definitely can't do merge request, which is a story largely written in Git comments.
So you do
Um,
chorus.
let's see. I mean, most of my stories are short enough that they could be presented in very short form in their own right. Uh, like oversaturation would be a fascinating one, especially since it does involve us the ascension of Sunset Shimmer. Um, yeah, I think I'd have to go. I'd probably have to go with that one just because of, it is the co- it is the foundation of many other stories from myself and other authors, and it would be deeply gratifying to see it get that kind of treatment. Uh, if I ever did finish it, which I will not, My Little Praetor Thysis' Magic would be one hell of an experience to see, just in terms of, ponies versus body horror cyborgs from another universe.
Nice. And a bonus question for that:
Mm,
what scene do you think would stand out as the most cinematic aspect to put in the trailer?
Ooh.
mm.
Well, if it were My Little Praetor, it's basically a war movie, so there's trailer bait coming out its ears. For oversaturation, it would probably be la it would probably either the la either the lab scene with the desperate analysis to understand what the hell is happening in as magic builds, or it would be the massive wave of world reshaping power at the climax, but well, that's the climax, but on the other hand, it is an adaptation and also trailers spoil everything.
Mm-hmm. So hint at the scene, just a little flash imagery, not to actually give the apex of it
Hmm.
away.
Oh, or maybe the scene in the alley where the horribly mutated Sonata jumps at sunset like a Five Nights at Freddy's animatronic.
Horrifying.
Okay, well, which one of your works would you want directed by Quentin Tarantino? There's the real question.
I don't know if I have anything with enough feet.
I mean, he's already tame stuff like Jackie Brown is pretty tame. So something on Jackie Brown level.
Uh, oh, yeah, absolutely. It'd be either Operation Hearthwarmer, which is definitely in the Inglorious Bastards niche of, ragtag team of misfits on a important mission to end the war with plenty of opportunity for banter and for banter and shenaniganery in that vein. Or it would be Sour Notes, the story where Arya Blaze and Human Limestone Pie beat each other halfway to a pulp and then start making out.
Hmm. Okay.
I feel like
I like
either
that
of
answer.
those would fit very well into Tarantino's comfort zone. It's just a
Yeah,
matter of
does
Inglorious Bastards or Kill Bill into sloppy makeouts.
I mean, how much speed is involved?
With Sour Notes, I feel like that's somewhat under his control, just based on camera angles.
Okay.
With Hearthwarmer, you run into the issue of hooves.
I mean, I think that's a fetish by itself, but it is what it
Now we're getting
is.
Pony Tarantino.
Pony Tarantino, yes. What? Okay, okay. This is actually something like I would actually like to see the fandom pull off. Just Quentin Tarantino, but he's a pony. I actually feel like that can be a fandom meme. It's like, why hasn't this become a fandom meme yet?
I can assure you the clout
To
material
my
already exists for that.
tremendous shock, that there does not appear to be anything on Derpy Buru in terms of a bona fide Tarantino. Movie references, yes. Him, no.
Guys, guys, this is something we have to perfect. We need a pony Tarantino. He needs at least 4,000 images on Derpy Brew. So come on, you can commit to like one character with a vast amount of porn. Why not Quentin Tarantino as a pony? You see, this is why people listen to our podcast because we come up with the ideas. We are the reason why this fandom is still alive.
We are the
All
Arby's
the
of
us and
Pony.
our
We have the ideas
yes,
and also the meats.
yes, yes. How many people are listening right now? MT
I think we're up to 600.
600. All 600 people listening.
Wait,
Okay,
3.
three, just three, 300,
Yeah, we'll go with that.
3,000. Okay, so all 3,000 people listening. Okay, I'm demanding that you put that we get artwork of Pony Tarantino. I want fan fiction written of this. I want it to be done in his style. Please do this. That means you fan. That means you fan was everything. I know you have the capabilities. You just got to show off now.
I was actually going to say the fan fiction might be within my capabilities. It's just a it's just a matter of figuring out what to do with the idea.
I would actually love to see you try things like all memes aside. Like I actually like to see what you come up with.
I think Pony Quarantino
I think
existing is the idea.
yeah. I think it can be easy to pull off. You just got to be familiar with like the typical Tarantino tropes, kind of like how he writes his dialogue. When it comes to prose, I think like that is slightly different. So there's more you can get away with there. Hmm. Okay. I think I'm pretty much like all of like written questions. Did you have anything else to ask, Empty?
Another good question. For the vast amount of stories we've actually been able to put out, uh, what do you think stands out as a strong emphasis you put in one of your works that you think your readers just overlooked or didn't pick up on that disappointed you? Whether it was a joke, something sentimental, or some other profound message you wanted to press that just no one commented on or acknowledged.
I mean, people can overlook some of the more subtle bits I put in. Most of my stories have been received in with the intent that I put into them. But I don't think I can't really think of anything offhand where it was I feel like the audience completely misunderstood it and didn't get the basis of it. It in that regard, I now that you've pointed it out, I honestly feel both proud in my own ability to present my ideas and very grateful to my audience for understanding where I'm going with them.
Damn. All right, how about like a hidden joke or like an Easter egg you think they didn't pick
Hmm.
up on?
One thing that will always amuse me, uh, one of my earlier stories that actually won a contest, The Flower's Dream, it is literally just like transposing Magic the Gathering lore onto Pony in with what I feel is the thinnest coat of veneer and just relying on the judge's unfamiliarity with the source material and thinking it was brilliant. Like I even used Magic the Gathering art for the cover image, still won the contest, still got praises, perfectly proved the concept that plagiarism is a combination of combining multiple different inspirations and also making sure there's a layer of obscurity and transformation to it.
Brilliant.
And to
I'm actually trying to think. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I forgot where I was going with that.
Good job.
I
You're
was thinking
welcome.
of a way to. I was thinking of a. You're welcome. No, I was thinking of a way to answer the question myself. No, I like that answer though. Okay, I guess. I guess we're getting close to the end, so like, we'll simplify the questions. Okay, best pony.
She of the Seven Bubbles.
She at the seven bubbles. What?
Derpy.
Correct.
Derpy.
Derby,
Okay.
Gypsy, Bubbles, Stoneface, Muffins. Many names she has in many countries.
You have to apologize. You have
Well,
to forgive Mugni. He's new here.
Mm.
yeah. I've never heard of this Derpy. What attracts you to her?
So I did join the fandom very early on, like between the hiatus between seasons one and two. And so, as part of my inculcation, some real world friends showed me some stuff, including some images captured from the original 4chan threads, including the original pointing out of the animation error with the one background Pegasus with an eye pointing the wrong way, and someone commenting, "Thus begins the legend of Derpy Hooves." And I could not tell you then, I cannot tell you now, but looking at that screen cap, I decided there and then she was my favorite pony, and I have not looked back since.
Derpy is a fun character. Yeah. I like how they finally canonized her with the 100th episode. I remember when that scene happened where like Doctor Who shows up and she just says muffins. Like the entire the internet just blew up.
Slice
It,
of
it was
life is
insane.
it, Slice of life is a mixed blessing, but very much a sincere gift. I was actually able to sit at a panel once where a few episode writers explained the process of creating episodes, and M.A. Larson went over how, he he went into researching the fandom and all we've done with the background characters in order to make sure that he could hit as many notes as possible. Like there
Oh
is
my god,
actually
there's a
one
chance he read my fan fiction. Jesus Christ.
one cut scene was actually a day guard and a night guard competing to see who could do a better impression of their respective princess. And Larson fought to try and make Bat Ponies canon. He did not succeed, but he tried.
Fuck Hasbro. What the fuck?
Also, Derpy is now in
Him- him-
in the stream. You're welcome.
Thank you. They made Larson as a bro. Like he actually sounds like he wanted to include the fandom more, but Hasbro was like, no.
Also, some stuff just had to get cut for time.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that's typical of any TV show. That yeah, yeah. Do you think that that the show would have been so much better if Hasbro was more lenient on like the kind of content they wanted to present in the show?
Potentially. Uh, though definitely in the late though definitely in the later seasons, though some of the issues there is just were just a lack of continuity in the writer stable.
Yeah, there are times where like they clearly wanted to kind of get a little darker to kind of like contribute to like the multi fandom, but and then there are episodes where it's just is like, oh, we're a little girls show, we're going back to that.
And, some of the more toyetic elements forcing their ways in.
Yeah, yeah, like the characters just existing for the toys, like Flurry Heart.
Oh, flirt. No, I meant more like, the crowbarred in nature of the school of friendship. Like, the Student Six
Oh yeah.
are interesting and useful characters, but the whole premise of that season was a massive drag.
What do you think about adult men playing with toys?
I
They're
mean,
action
with a loose
figures.
enough with a loose enough definition of toy, that is simply human existence.
So you're saying you watch the show about ponies? What are you, a queer? Well, I don't think I can say that on Twitch. Oh, well, what are you, a Brody? I didn't. When I say Twitch, I meant clear in the weird sense. I saved it.
Yes. Yes.
Swear to God,
And
if you get my my channel
I mean,
fucking banned on my first fucking broadcast.
I think like that's only good enough for a 10th fan. So don't worry, I got you covered, buddy.
God, and I fucking
but
paid to be here.
but yeah, but yes, I am a, I am weird. I acknowledge this. I embrace it. I fi- Normalcy is boring. What's your point?
You know what? That's a good point. I won't argue. Okay. So I asked you what your favorite character is. Okay. What was it? What's some like some okay some writing advice you would qualify as objective? And you interpret that however you want, and writing advice you interpret as subjective. So technically both those are subjective, but like answer to the best you can.
In terms of objectively constructive advice, absolutely absolutely get a pre-reader. You will forget you will miss lines that that are in your head but never actually made it to the page. You will have scenes where it makes perfect sense to you because it's in your mind's eye, but you have failed to describe it in a way that will make sense to anyone else. There will be jokes only you think are funny. There will be scenes only you think are dramatic, and on the opposite end of the spectrum, there will be deeper reads that you didn't intend that you can capitalize on further. There will be leads that you haven't thought about that could become either plot holes or brilliant twists depending on how you handle them that you need pointed out. So on and so forth, getting another set of eyes on your story before it hits the site is going to be one of the most helpful things you can do. Please note that this is coming from someone who more than half of the time is so sick of the manuscript that he throws it on Fimfic without ever asking anyone else to look at it, simply so he doesn't delete it in a fit of pique. Do as I do, not as I say. Do as I say, not as I do, for your benefit.
I just wanted to add to that. When looking for pre-readers, okay, maybe you don't have like a large fan group in that case, or friend group. I meant in that case, like any eyes are good eyes, but like if you know enough people, or you know how to at least contact people and ask them for help, you don't typically want a free reader who will just read the story and go, okay, looks good. You basically want a pre-reader who understands your writing style, that they can read your story, understand your style instantly, know what you're looking for, and give their opinion based on how you write. They're not talking about like when they give advice, they don't say, "Oh, this is what readers want, so do this." No, they are able to analyze your writing style and try to help you refine it the best way possible. You typically want a pre-reader like that.
Indeed. And
Yeah. I,
for more subjective advice, write more Zakora. She's fun.
yeah. I actually keep meaning to write Sakura because I think like in terms of pony design, she's one of my favorites. I think the part of her that's hard to write is just you gotta making her rhyme because like when you write a character that rhymes a lot, you have to make it sound good. That's the only challenge with her.
She is
But that's what makes
absolutely
her
an
fun.
example of a character where you need to say the dialogue out loud to make sure it sounds both in character and that it flows naturally, especially since for her it needs to flow rhythmically.
I think the Jack Kid said it best, and I'm probably gonna butcher this quote because I don't remember it word for word, but uh, 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 it's something about like it said in the pot you shit. It was something along those lines. Jack Kid writes a great Sakura.
I mean, Jacket is a gift to the site.
I mean, yeah, yes, I actually have his hardback collection.
Outstanding.
I've
I
had
love
the
it when he
hardest.
wrote his. Go ahead.
I'll say I've had the hardest time writing dialogue and rhyming with Zakora in my story.
The key is to A, have a consistent rhythmic beat to it, and C, count your syllables, make sure they all sync up. From there, it's just a matter of mangling your dialogue such that you both convey the message you want and it fits the rhythm.
Yes. Okay. Um, I'm trying to think of any more questions. We're about to end the stream here, but like I feel like wait. I need to ask a couple more. Um, do you have any empathy?
On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being amazing, 10 being even better, how would you rate my story?
There, you've written something?
I've only completed one story. I'm working on the sequel. I've had to take a 6 month break for health and mental reasons. Uh, I, I implore anyone to give my story a shot, but I request no one to dedicate themselves to it. It's like 1.7 million words.
What the fuck?
Crossing the Trixie Bridge?
Yes.
Let's see.
I'll give it a 7.
I'll
Yeah.
give it a comfortable 6. But mega word mega word stories are signs of great passion also gr and also great not knowing when to spin off into a sequel.
Which I
I
did.
say, having not read a word of yours.
All right, since you asked, I guess I'll ask. Well, what would you rate my stories, the ones you read, like Pink Scorch?
Thus far, I can't give a definitive rating until I see where it ends up going, but right now, yeah, I'd give it I'd give it a comfortable 7. You've got a number of intrigue. Oh, Pink Scorch. Sorry, I was thinking of the current one.
Either. Because when I say Pink Scorch, like Pink Scorch is just the overarching series.
Yeah, give it a 7. You've got some fascinating world building, very compelling arc, a very compelling arc with Zap in with the works. Uh, a an enjoyable protagonist who is irreverent without feeling flippant enough to make it feel like the author doesn't care and thus neither should I. And
Yep.
yeah, you're definitely striking a good balance of misfit superhero without feeling like you're without overbalancing it into one of several different possible forms of obnoxiousness.
Yeah. Okay, so the thing with the main character, what really helps it is the main character is literally me. Okay, when I wrote that character, I was like, okay, so I want this to be a relatable protagonist. Well, how am I going to do it? I'm gonna make them literally me. So like a lot of like the behavior she shows, that is literally the kind of behavior I exhibit.
Well done.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, it's exaggerated. Literally the thing with her, like her being on the spectrum. I literally just threw that in there because I'm on the spectrum. It's not to be like inclusive. Like I'm not really the kind of guy to actually do inclusive shit in my story. So I literally just tossed it in there, and that became a character trait. I love to fuck around with it. At least in interesting places.
Indeed.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I guess we'll end on this question. Who would you fuck? We asked this of all our guests. Who would you fuck?
My options are either horses or girls who are still in high school. I am declining to answer.
Celestia
Okay, but
and
like
Luna are
like
both over 1,000 years old, so you're safe with those
yeah,
two.
yeah, they're horses, but they're definitely of age.
Look, just look. I read Xenophilia back in the day. I would not, but I would politely decline.
I actually don't remember that. Remind me what story that is. I think I've read it.
Uh, Basically the original case of reverse gender roles Equestria, except with actual thought put into it.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I don't think I read it. I know there was a. Okay, I think it's not familiar because I know there's actually a group for it.
But yes, suffice to
Okay.
say, my answer to this one is a sincere and heartfelt none of the above.
Okay, I guess we got to make the question like a simpler for your sake, God. Um, which Transformer would you fuck?
Have you never seen Look, have you never seen that one safety poster with the gears labeled "Do
Oh
not
my!
fist
You,
robot
you
girls"?
you make this so complicated. Oh my God! When AI takes over, that is going to be your biggest concern. Elon Musk is going to make a sex robot. That is going to be your concern.
I mean, if Elon
Okay,
Musk makes it, my God.
I,
You
I
thought the
I'm
fuel
cheering him
cell
on.
fires were bad on a car.
I mean, he just unleashed like what was it called, like the Tesla robots. He's planning to release those in like a few years. Elon, I'm just telling you, man, you can make some real cash money. I'm just saying.
How old are the Celestias and Lunas in the human world?
They're principals of the high school, so that's all you really need to know.
I don't give a shit about their occupation. I ask about their age.
Uh,
They're
presumably,
milfs.
presumably somewhere in their 30s or 40s.
They're ripe milf age. So yeah, so would that be your answer?
If you literally will not accept a null set as a viable answer, then
I
I will
will.
go for human Luna.
Okay, there you go. I was just looking for anybody, just literally anybody. That was all I was looking for.
I wasn't gonna press. I was just curious at this point.
What about you, MC?
Uh, I'll run up the scoreboard on this one.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I said I'll run up the scoreboard on this one. Start naming them off.
Oh God. Okay, I believe that's all
I'm
the
so
questions.
lonely.
I believe
I am
that's
too,
all
but
the
apparently I have standards.
I have standards, so they're just
okay.
extremely low.
I can't believe I got a fucking normie on this podcast. Okay, I believe that's all the questions we have. Did you have any more, Empty?
I did have questions, but it's mostly like well, more of a request. They're requesting more images of Derpy than I'm trying to appease them.
Okay, send him more images of Derpy. The fan, did you have any questions for us before we close things out?
So
I don't know,
just
like any questions?
so just out of curiosity, just because it fascinates me how few people seem to be aware of this after more than a decade of doing it, were either of you aware of the weekly card blog thing before I mentioned it earlier?
No?
Incredible. Uh, no,
Uh,
that's
Explain it to me again. What it was?
uh every week on Sunday morning I post a blog of that converts Pony Media into Magic cards.
I may have seen a few of them, but uh, I have not been closely attached to following people or content within the fandom, unfortunately. Just because of my occupation for the last couple of years.
Entirely
Yeah,
understandable.
there's a chance I may have seen it with you. Is like, I know like when it comes to like fandom, I know like there are a few like fan fiction writers who developed card games. I know David Silver developed one. Um, but like I've never really been fascinated with card games in general. Like I'm one of those weirdos who could never get into Yu-Gi-Oh, which surprises me. Like it surprises me that it's so popular now. Like I could have kept my original Yu-Gi-Oh deck to make hundreds off it, but it didn't. So yeah, there's a chance I've seen it. I just didn't remember it just because like there is that detachment with me.
Mm.
Yeah,
Well, I have many things I could say about Yu-Gi-Oh players, but I know some of them and they're fine people for what they are.
yeah. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh is fine. It's like they have like cool card designs. Is like that's like the main thing I remember from like playing the game as a kid. But like yeah, just card games with me in general. Like I always found them tedious. Like you got. I think that's the reason why it's hard for me to get into role playing because you have to like actually study the play style. You have to pay attention to all these rules and follow
You
them
may want
accordingly.
you may want to look into looser systems like Lancer, for example, is a fantastic RPG. It is relatively rules light, and you get a giant robot from the word go.
Oh, nice. I think I prefer like those RPs where it's like you just make it up as you go along. It's like you just get a group of friends that go, hey, want to RP for this universe, and you guys just get it going. Basically,
That also works.
you don't like it. Yeah, I think I did with Harry Potter. I just couldn't commit to it. I came up with like a badass name. I think it was Eric Bloodtooth and I just made him a complete asshole. He literally becomes best friends with the main characters by force. That was fun. I gotta continue that. After this, I'm probably just gonna randomly continue the RP without notice. Yeah. Okay. I think that's pretty much anything else, MT.
Uh, no. If I had more time, I probably would have taken the opportunity to review more of your works and have more in-depth questions. Unfortunately, this was kind of last minute. Uh, but man, it's
Yeah.
been a blast chatting with you.
Glad to hear it. I've had a lot of fun.
Good. Yeah, I felt like most of the interview was awkward. That might just been me though. I don't know, I'm a very awkward person, but I'm glad it will. I'm glad you had fun. That's the goal for the most part when it comes to these episodes.
You have succeeded.
I've also added more
Good.
Derpy to the stream. So
Always
Derpy
well.
here.
I'm not sure if you can actually see
Okay.
what I put in plastic on there. I've kind of ruined your splash image.
Oh
Or
Okay,
God.
so I'm not saying.
I have not been watching the
I'm-
stream. What have you done?
Okay, so I'm not saying do
Okay,
it
I
yet.
can expect this.
Okay, so I'm not saying do it yet, Empty. I'm just asking you, do you know how to close out the stream?
bottom right corner where it says stop stream.
Yeah, I'll tell you when to do that. Okay, just gotta do the closer. Gotta do the plugs. First of all, special thanks to Empty Plot Filler. Oh, hey, he's here
Oh, that's
for
me. Wow.
sponsoring the. Yeah, yeah. For sponsoring the podcast. If you would like to support us, if you want me to have like internet and like the proper equipment to do this, you can donate to our Patreon. I have no way to link it right now, so I'll just when I upload this to the edited version onto our YouTube page. I'll put the link to our Patreon in the description. We also take direct payments via PayPal. All that money goes to helping the podcast, making it better quality. We can invest in better equipment. What else? What else am I missing? Uh, uh, what's a random charity I can throw in that I don't really support, but I can just sound supportive?
SnarkCast
And,
Patreon has been added in the chat uh, for the
oh,
stream.
thank you.
Also, would like to thank everyone who was kind enough to drop into the chat. Uh, I'm a little mentally disabled at the moment. I'm not going to be able to pronounce names, but you all know who you are. You're all amazing people. Really appreciate it.
Okay, with that, do you want to say any final words for the closer, fan?
Th Thank you for having me. It's been great to be here, and I hope you, even though I won't be, I hope you take the time to read more of my work.
Heck yeah. With that, we've been the SnarkCast, later losers.
And this is where I
You can
stop it.
stop streaming now.
Okay.